Okay. My name is Brittany Good. I'm the operations manager for Aldea Coffee out of West Michigan.
Amazing. Thank you, Brittany, for joining us today. What sustainable development goals are you working on currently at Aldea Coffee?
Yeah, so this last year we completed our first full year with the solar panels on our warehouse, where we do all of our production and roasting. And so kind of in the wake of that, I started looking at evaluating our energy usage and supply chain, just a complete overhaul of it. How much money are we spending here, and what cafe is spending this versus that, just kind of evaluating all of that. My goal is to figure out where we can cut down on our energy usage and create a plan that shows that very clearly that we've made improvements there. I also feel that we're working on waste management still. As you know, this is a project we've been working on for many, 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 many years. But we, as Aldea, we have been able to increase our composting every single year. We're composting more and more, but we still don't have a composting route that goes by our coffee shops. And we would really like to see more compostable products being able to be used as to-go packaging, and that composting route and education to be there so that we can, the consumer can correctly take care of their product, right? But the Michigan Sustainable Business Forum has a couple of projects that they've put me on that will help me guide through that. And in turn, all of that documentation should be helping me recertify for our B Corp certification.
And that's exciting too, because I've seen the tangible efforts that your team has made to really work on your sustainable development goals, right? Because we use those data points to really help measure and track where we are with that. And just knowing, that you've implemented the solar panels, but also too now, bringing a huge highlight to your for your community to bring in their travel mugs, as well as being able to offer the Gaia Star
as
Cup.
in Earth. Yeah. Yep.
That's amazing. And just seeing, literally this year y'all did a post recently where you saved about it was over 12,000 cups just because you offer that program. That's a huge step in just being able to cut back on waste, not even just for your business, but with the community in a relationship with that. Why does working at Aldea certified B Corp matter to you?
Yeah, to me, it matters because mostly because I get to have so much fun doing the assessment and implementing all the things within our company. But it also means that we have founders who have really dedicated the company to being sustainability and socially responsible. And it makes me feel good knowing that the work that we're doing is aligning with that, those assessments and those guidelines of what we should be doing, right? And our last recertification, we scored pretty high. We had a 113. Yeah, we had a 113. So that was in 2023. And it felt so good to see the work that we're doing on paper and to see that progress changing from that number going from 80 to 113, right? But I work really hard at it, and my next recertification isn't until 2027. But with the new standards coming out, I'll be working on it all year, taking away at it slowly and just making sure that we're aligning with what B Corp is asking. And I fully intend to be recertified this next round.
How has using the B Impact Assessment influenced concrete changes in your operations, such as governance, workers, community, or environmental practices?
I wrote 2 examples.
Of course.
So the first one is for the workers. I think that when you're coming from a company that's a small manufacturing company, we're still a team of about 30 people. It was a little bit difficult for us to figure out how we were going to implement benefits for our staff, right? In the assessment, the B Impact Assessment gives you so many guidelines that you can kind of pick and choose where you want to fall in it. And it really helped us dictate what we do, right? And so we can't offer health insurance, but we can offer a wellness stipend that you submit a receipt for, and we reimburse you for it. And we couldn't offer 20 PTO days, but we could offer 15, and the way that the impact assessment was previously written, it kind of just weighed those points out. And so it helped dictate exactly what we were going to do. Probably the biggest one that I thought is still very impactful was a revenue share. So we do a 1% revenue share with our staff and a 2% revenue share with our nonprofit. So I just was doing all of those calculations today, and every quarter, that's an extra couple $100 in your pocket, right? And we do that for everyone that's been here for a year, whether you're a part-time employee or not. And so I think that the impact assessment really helped guide us through what that was going to look like. And that's just a couple examples of our, benefits package, but.
Yeah, and it's exciting too because, looking back on all the changes you've made, right? The way that Aldea has remained successful is because you have implemented the best business strategy, which is adapting with the changes and the needs of the team members that you're bringing on, right? It's ensuring that it's not just a cash transaction between you and your team member. It's actually, we want to do our best by ensuring we can provide that wellness stipend. We want to ensure we can give you those days off when you need them, because it is all about, ensuring that you have a healthy team base. When you have a healthy team base, it really affects the business in a positive way. People are excited to show up to work. You've had so many team members, and I commend you on this, who've been, including yourself, on team for over 10 plus years. That is an incredible feat, especially in the coffee industry, because we know that so many other businesses are a little bit more focused on just the money versus putting the people first. And that makes a big difference.
It really does, and it gives meaning to your job, I think.
I
I'm
agree.
not just trying to sell coffee,
Yes.
I'm able to build a relationship with most of our team. There's a little pockets of it that have all just become little best friends, right? And most of my best friends are people I work with because of the way that we've built our culture.
Best friends, but also too, educators as well, right? Aldea has really done their best to include trips where you can then go and meet the cultivators of the coffee, right? And that you also take it a step further to really build up on their skill sets, because again, really highlighting you guys how often it happens in your team where actually you promote from within, because you see the valued skill sets that your team members have, and you don't really extort them. You actually praise them and then prioritize where you can ensure that their needs are being met, as well as ensuring that the company is working collectively together.
The reason that I started looking at our energy usage and all of the money that we're spending in general, I started evaluating all of it because I need to make sure that we're working with vendors that I can truly believe in, and that we're shipping everything to us the best possible way, right? So instead of an Amazon order showing up in 16 boxes every other day, how can I buy in bulk from a different company that gives it to me all at once? That's one truck that comes through, right? Just those types of things. So that's another part that I felt like the impact assessment has helped me with a ton, is just looking at all the different aspects of the supply chain and how to break that down and what that looks like, so that when you're spending money, you are spending it with the best possible people, right? And we do work with as many B Corps as possible, which that's another huge benefit that B Corp brings to the table, is that logo helps you just know. I don't have to think, right, when I go to order our new Christmas presents from Patagonia, I know that those Christmas presents are coming from a great place because they have that stamp of approval.
What originally motivated Aldea Coffee to pursue B Corp certification, and how has that decision shaped your mission and culture today?
So the founders of Aldea, they started creating Aldea Coffee in 2015. I know our story is a little confusing because we started as a nonprofit and then evolved into a business. Obviously, with super close ties to our nonprofit still, but they are two separate entities. And they were going, and I believe it was like early 2015, they were starting the process of opening our first coffee shop and getting Aldea off the ground here in West Michigan, when they went to a presentation by King Arthur Flour.
Yeah.
And something about that presentation truly stuck with them. And so with Aldea opening in 2015, they knew that B Corp was something they would want to do eventually. They weren't really sure when that would happen. But those first few years, there was just only 3 or 4 of us employees, and we were just kind of figuring it out. In 2017, a former intern of Aldea came to us and said, hey, I've got a couple of months. I just did B Corp certification for this company out west. Would you guys be interested in using me as, contracting me to get you guys started? So she started the process for us, went through the assessment for the first time with me, and got a lot of our kind of initial handbook policies, some of that stuff kind of written up in the early days. But the assessment was so intense that by the time I actually got through that round that she started with, we were using data from 3 different years. And so it just wasn't really working, So I ended up going back to our contact at B Corp or B Lab and being I think we should just start over. So in 2019 we started over, and in 2020, September of 2020, we were officially certified.